Gilbert de Clare, the man known to history as the Red Earl, was a figure of immense power and influence in 13th century England. His legacy is one that has fascinated historians and enthusiasts of medieval history alike. Welcome to Cryptic Mystic Vault, where we unravel the secrets of ancient mysteries. He was a warrior, a rebel, and ultimately a kingmaker. His prowess on the battlefield and his strategic mind made him a formidable force in the political landscape of his time. His life was a whirlwind of political intrigue, bloody conflict, and ambitious expansion. From the halls of power to the front lines of battle, Gilbert de Clare's actions reverberated throughout the kingdom. Born into a world of feudal obligations and shifting allegiances, Gilbert de Clare left an indelible mark on his era. His ability to navigate the complex web of loyalties and rivalries was key to his success. This essay delves into the life and times of this fascinating figure, exploring his family background, his role in the tumultuous Barons' War, and his significant contributions to English history. We will uncover the layers of his personality and the motivations behind his actions. Gilbert lived in an age of great upheaval and change. The social and political fabric of England was being constantly reshaped by conflict and reform. England was still finding its feet after the Norman conquest of 1066. The conquest had brought about a seismic shift in the country's governance and societal structure. The old Anglo-Saxon order had been swept away, replaced by a new Norman aristocracy. This new ruling class brought with it new customs, laws, and a different way of life. The Red Earl, through his actions and ambitions, would help to shape the destiny of this new England. His influence extended beyond the battlefield and into the very heart of English governance. From the rolling hills of Gloucestershire to the rugged mountains of Wales, the Red Earl's influence was felt far and wide. His estates and fortifications were symbols of his power and reach. He was a product of his time, but he was also a shaper of it. His decisions and actions had lasting impacts on the course of English history. His story offers a unique window into the turbulent world of medieval England, a world of chivalry and brutality, of piety and treachery, of ambition and despair. It is a tale that captures the essence of an era defined by its contrasts and conflicts. This is the story of Gilbert de Clare, the Red Earl of Gloucester, a man whose life and legacy continue to intrigue and inspire those who seek to understand the complexities of medieval England. Gilbert de Clare was born into a position of immense privilege and power, a world where his every need was catered to and his future seemed preordained for greatness. The de Clare family was one of the most powerful in England, tracing its lineage back to the Norman conquest, a time when the foundations of modern England were being laid. Gilbert's grandfather, Richard de Clare, had been a close companion of William the Conqueror, a man whose loyalty and bravery were rewarded with great honours. He had been rewarded for his loyalty with vast estates in England and Wales, lands that would become the cornerstone of the de Clare legacy. This made the de Clares some of the wealthiest and most influential landowners in the kingdom, their influence extending far beyond their immediate holdings. From a young age, Gilbert was groomed for a life of leadership, his path carefully charted by those who saw his potential. He received a traditional noble education, learning the arts of war, chivalry, and courtly etiquette, skills that were essential for any nobleman of his stature. He was trained in swordsmanship, horsemanship, and falconry, disciplines that honed his physical prowess and strategic thinking. He was also schooled in Latin, law, and history, subjects that provided him with a deep understanding of governance and the legal frameworks of his time. This upbringing instilled in Gilbert a strong sense of his own importance and a deep understanding of the complexities of power, preparing him for the responsibilities he would one day inherit. Gilbert's father, also named Richard de Clare, died when Gilbert was still a young boy, a loss that thrust him into a position of great responsibility at an early age. This left Gilbert as the heir to the vast de Clare estates, a role that came with both immense wealth and significant challenges. His inheritance included lands in England, Wales, and Ireland, as well as numerous castles, manors, and lucrative feudal dues, assets that made him a key player in the political landscape of the time. This made Gilbert one of the most eligible bachelors in the kingdom, his hand in marriage sought after by many for the alliances it could bring. It also made him a target for ambitious rivals, those who saw his youth and inexperience as an opportunity to challenge his authority. Growing up surrounded by the trappings of wealth and power had a profound impact on Gilbert, shaping his worldview and his ambitions. He inherited his family's ambition and their ruthlessness, qualities that would serve him well in the cutthroat world of medieval politics. He was determined to uphold the de Clare legacy, and he would not hesitate to use any means necessary to achieve his goals, ensuring that his family's name would be remembered for generations to come. The 13th century was a time of great political turmoil in England. The landscape of medieval England was not just defined by its rolling hills and quaint villages, but also by the intense power struggles that shaped its history. The reign of King Henry III was marked by constant conflict between the crown and the powerful baronial families. These families, with their vast estates and private armies, wielded significant influence and were not easily subdued. At the heart of this struggle lay a fundamental disagreement over the limits of royal power. The barons, who had long been accustomed to a degree of autonomy, were increasingly frustrated by the king's attempts to centralize authority. The barons believed that the king should rule with the consent of his nobles, while Henry sought to assert his authority and govern without their interference. This clash of ideologies set the stage for a prolonged and bitter conflict. Gilbert de Clare, now a powerful earl in his own right, became a key figure in this struggle. His lineage and wealth made him a natural leader among the discontented barons. He was a natural leader, and he quickly rose to prominence among the baronial opposition. His charisma and strategic mind earned him the respect and loyalty of many. The barons resented Henry's autocratic rule, his mismanagement of royal finances, and his favoritism towards foreign advisors. These grievances only fueled their determination to curtail the king's power. In 1258, a group of leading barons, including Gilbert de Clare, forced Henry to accept the provisions of Oxford. This was a groundbreaking moment in the history of English governance. This document was a significant challenge to royal authority. It outlined a series of reforms aimed at limiting the king's power and increasing the influence of the barons in the administration of the kingdom. It sought to impose limits on the king's power and give the barons a greater say in government. The provisions of Oxford were seen as a victory for those who championed a more balanced and representative form of governance. Henry, however, had no intention of abiding by these restrictions. His refusal to honor the agreement led to a deepening of the crisis. He reneged on his promises, leading to a renewed outbreak of hostilities. The kingdom was once again on the brink of war. England was plunged into a bitter civil war known as the Barons' War. This conflict would test the resolve and resources of both sides. Gilbert de Clare emerged as one of the key leaders of the baronial forces. His leadership was instrumental in rallying the barons and coordinating their efforts against the king. He fought with distinction in a number of battles and skirmishes. His bravery and tactical prowess were widely recognized. His military skills and his political acumen made him a formidable opponent. Gilbert de Clare's legacy would be remembered as one of resilience and defiance in the face of royal tyranny. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries and thrilling adventures into the past.